Good evening. Hi there. Eimear Burke here, and welcome to Tea with the Druid 142, brought to you by the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids. I see people are here already. That is great. You'll hear I have a bit of a cold. I have a chest infection, and so if I start coughing in the middle of this, please forgive me. I have my tea ready to keep my vocal cords moistened. I hope you've had a good summer. I've really enjoyed the break, and it's strange now. I'm realizing we're back into the autumn. I have to have lights on as I'm doing this broadcast, and I don't know what it's like for you, but for me, it's a challenge. I always find the transition from summer into autumn difficult, and the beginning of September I find challenging, and because I know I'm heading into the dark of the winter. But once I pass the autumn equinox, then I'm resigned and I'm happy. And I do actually enjoy the winter. So I don't know how it is for you. So anyway, I'm just going to, who we've got, Eunice from Orkney, where have we got? Tennessee, wonderful, Pennsylvania, Ciao from Italy, Indiana. Lovely to see you all. Hi from Switzerland, wonderful. So, thank you for the healing wishes. Yes, I am improving, and I am taking a lot of my own home remedies and herbs, and every day I get better. So what I'm going to start off today with is a plug. I'm going to plug this book, Why the Moon Travels, and it's by Owen the Vardoon, who's a member of the Order. And Owen is Irish, and he's a member of the traveling community. And this is a collection of absolutely magical stories of travelers, or traveler stories. And it's illustrated by another traveler artist called Leanne McDonough. And I was lucky to see an exhibition of hers last October at a traveler festival in Galway. Highly recommend this. Owen is a very, very poetic storyteller, a true bard. And it's wonderful that he has been happy to share these stories of the traveler people. So I've checked with him. It's okay to tell this story. I'm going to tell a story. Well, it's my version of one of the stories in this book. I'd heard it many, many years ago from a storyteller here in Ireland called Ruth Marshall. So I see, hi Gail from the New Forest. How are you? And today from Little Britain. Wonderful. From Nova Scotia. Well done. See, Ellie has already ordered this book. So what I will do at the end of the broadcast, I will actually put it in the comment section where you can get this book. So sit back and enjoy the story. Now, forgive me, Owen, this is my version of it, okay? So I hope I do it justice. And this is a story, I think, relevant for our times, and it's around the dangers of trying to manipulate our environment. And also it's a lesson to us to be careful for what we ask for, because we do pay a price. And I've come across versions of this from other traditions as well. So I think, although this is a traveler story, it has a relevance and a universality, as indeed so many stories have. So a long, long time ago, there were great floods brought about by heavy rains. There was nothing but cloud covering Ireland, and the Minkeri, the travellers, were fed up, as were everybody else. They couldn't dry their clothes. The crops weren't growing particularly well in the fields. They were getting soaked. Everything was covered in mud, and they were getting really, really fed up of this. Now, Irish people are always whinging about the weather because it seems to rain every day here. But this was really, really bad weather. This was raining night and day. And the people went, gathered together, and what were they going to do about this? So they decided to seek out the weavers of magic. And they went to them and they said, please, can you remove the clouds? We need some sunshine in our lives. This endless, ceaseless raining is killing us. And the weavers of magic said, are you sure about this? And they said, we are tired and sick and tired of this rain. And they said, do you know what you're asking for? Yeah, we just want sunshine in our lives. Who doesn't want sunshine? And they asked again, Are you sure you know what you're asking for? Of course we know what we're asking for. We want sunshine. We want this rain to go away. And they asked a third time, are you sure you want the clouds to go away? And they said, we wouldn't be here otherwise. So the weavers of magic pushed the clouds away. Well, the people were so grateful. They rejoiced, they feasted, and they partied. And they were out in the sunshine, and they were swimming in the rivers and swimming in the sea. And the flowers began to bloom, and the crops ripened in the field, and the cattle started producing great milk, and all was well, and people were well and healthy, and singing and dancing and celebrating. And this went on and on for a few months. But then people began to get tired of the sun because it became relentless. There was no more rain. But the rivers, well, didn't they begin to dry up? And the lakes and the seas began to recede. And the flowers, they didn't bloom as well now because there was no rain. And the crops, well, they withered in the fields. The cattle stopped producing milk. And then the land, no longer green as it usually is in Ireland, became brown and crusty and dry. And with no food and no water, the old people, they began to die. The babies, the young children, they began to die. And then even the strong, or the once strong, became listless and weak. And those who could, they went back to the weavers of magic and said, can you do anything about this? We are tired of this relentless sun shining down on us all day, burning, burning, burning. And the weavers of magic said, we asked you if you knew what you were asking for. And you said you did. This is what happens when you interfere with the cycles of the seasons and the cycles of life. There's nothing we can do. We cannot undo this. And the people went back home and they just lay about, getting weaker and weaker and more listless. But there was one little girl, and her name was Bridge, which is the Irish for Bridget. And she looked around her and was brokenhearted at seeing all her grandparents had died, her baby brother had died, and looking at her parents and the parents of her friends just lying around weak and listless and apathetic. And she said, I have to do something about this. I have to do something about this. I am going to ask the sun to stop shining and bring back the clouds. So she headed off into the fields, well, what were once fields, but this was dry, dusty soil at this stage. And she called up to the sun. And she called and she called. There was no answer. And she called again, and still there was no answer. And she called and called again, no answer. But she was not going to give up. She was going to do something about this. And she noticed towards the evening a star, a very bright star shining in the sky. And she went to walk towards that star. And she thought, it's very far away. Maybe if I walk up on this hill, I'll get closer and maybe the star will talk to me. So she did, and she walked, and she was tired and she was weak, but she persisted walking up the top of that hill. And she could see Evening Star looking down on her. And she called up, Evening Star, Evening Star. And Evening Star looked down on her and said, hi, little girl, what are you doing on this hill? And she told her problem. She said, my people are dying. We willed the clouds away, and now the sun shines ceaselessly, burning everything on the land. And the old people are dying, and the young babies are dying, and even the ones strong are now weak and listless. Nothing grows anymore in the fields. The cattle no longer produce milk, and the rivers and the lakes, they're drying up. Please, can you do something to help us? Please. An Evening Star looked on her with compassion. And she said, little girl, I'm afraid I don't have the power to do this, to help you. But I do know somebody who might be able to help. Let's wait and we call Sister Moon. She'll be rising in the sky soon enough. So it began to get dark, and sure enough, as it became very dark, Sister Moon rose up in the east in her fullness. An evening star called her over and said, Sister Moon, maybe you can be of help to this little girl. And she looked down and she said, what can I do for you, little girl? And the little girl breathed, said, oh, Sister Moon, my people are dying. We drove the clouds away and the sun shines relentlessly down upon us. And our old people are dying and our young babies are dying, and even the once strong are now weak and listless. Can you help us? I know we did wrong. I know we broke the cycle of life, but please give us a chance. And Sister Moon looked at the little girl and was so impressed with her courage. And she said, I will do what I can to bring the clouds back. So she knew she had a way with the tide, so she went to the ocean and she tried to raise the ocean up into the sky to create some vapor, to make some clouds, to bring some rain. But all she could do was bring the tides up and down the shore. And no matter how hard she tried and tried, raising the water up into the clouds. But no. And she came back to Breach and she said, little girl, I am so sorry, but it is not in my power to bring back the clouds. But she says, if anyone can do this, it's brother, son. And the little girl says, I did call out to him, but he didn't answer. And Moon said, just wait here. He will rise up in the morning in the east, and we will talk to him then. So Breach spent the night on the hill, and in the morning, brother Sun came up in the east over the horizon, and Sister Moon called him over and said, brother Sun, please, can you help this little girl? What do you want? He said. He was quite arrogant, very full of himself. And she said, brother Sun, please, please bring back the clouds. We are sorry. My people are dying. The old people are dying. The babies are dying. And the young people who were once strong are now weak and listless. And the animals are dying. And the crops in the fields have died. And the flowers no longer bloom. And he said, why should I? This is what you wanted. Why should I bring the clouds back that would block my beauty? I love shining in all my brilliance and glory. I don't want to hide behind clouds anymore. I spent long enough like that. No, you interfered. You and your people interfered with the cycles of life and the seasons. Now you live with that. As arrogant as he could. Well, the little girl, Breach, was dejected. She lowered her head and she began to walk down the hill very, very slowly. All her determination gone, her endurance, her stamina. And as she got to the bottom of the hill, she walked on a little bit further, full of despair and hopelessness. And then she fell down and she died. And as she died, Mother Earth opened up, raised out her two arms and brought her into an embrace and brought her back home within. Now, Star, Sister Moon and Brother Sun were watching high up in the sky, and Evening Star was brokenhearted. So sad as she watched that little girl return to the earth, dead. She began to cry, and the tears ran down her cheeks and landed down on the earth's surface. And Sister Moon, well, she was devastated, frustrated at her own inability to help the little girl, and brokenhearted for her. Here was one child who tried her best to protect the land. She too cried, and the tears ran down her cheeks and landed on the earth where the little girl had gone. Now, even Brother Moon, for all his arrogance and brilliance and goldenness and desire to shine like an almighty one in the sky, he couldn't but be moved. It did touch him that that little girl had tried so hard to bring the clouds back. And something touched him deep in his heart, and his tears began to fall down his face and land again on the earth. And then what happened was, wherever the teardrops fell, little shoots began to peep up from the surface. And star and moon and sun are looking down, and the leaves began to grow and form shapes of stars. And then one little shoot pops up, a little stem and a bud, and out develops into a beautiful golden yellow flower, just like the sun. And more began to pop up, and they grew very quickly, and they ripened very quickly, and then they withered, but appeared to die. But then the little white globes, what we call dandelion clocks, emerged, full of seeds, full of potential. And that is how the dandelion came to be. We have the star formation of the leaves, the yellow golden of the sun, and the silver clock of the moon. And as a herbalist, I was taught that dandelion is a wonderful healing herb. It's a diuretic. It's full of potassium, even vitamin D. But not only that the dandelion is a warrior in the sense that she is strong and powerful and invincible. No matter how much money is spent on weed killer and mowing down dandelions, each year they emerge again and again and again. And you know in springtime how they fill the fields, invincible, strong, and golden and wonderful. And so, I would like you to go on a journey with me now. So, get comfortable in front of your screen. And when you're ready, if you like, close your eyes. And just become aware of your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Remember, with every in-breath, there are possibilities, and with every out-breath, there's a letting go. Breathing in and breathing out. Now I'd like you to imagine that you're at the edge of a forest. And it's a beautiful sunny day. It's a brilliant blue sky, and there are white puffy clouds there as well. And the sun is shining brightly but gently. And you sense an invitation to enter into the forest, and there's a path before you. And as you walk along that path, you notice the different colors, the various shades of green of the trees, the color of the bark, the color of the flowers and fruits that may be on these trees. Just be aware of all that you can see. And be aware of all the sounds, the gentle breeze as it rustles through the leaves, the sounds of birds singing, the sounds of insects as they buzz past you. Notice any smells, any tastes. Be aware of your feet upon the earth. And now you stop and you stand still, tuning in to the energy of the earth, feeling it beneath your feet, drawing it up into you, up through the soles of your feet, up through your legs, into the center of your being. Feeling the earth's energy and its power and its strength grounding you. And then you look upwards and you see the beautiful blue sky through the wonderful green canopy of the trees. And you draw down that sky energy through the top of your head, right down into the center of your being. And you sense, or you see, or you feel the earth energy and the sky energy mingling and spiraling around your body, filling every cell. Feeling strengthened and renewed by the power of the energy of the earth and the sky. And then you continue walking along the path until you come to a clearing. And this is a very, very bright clearing. The sun is shining on the grass. There are lots of flowers. And you notice some dandelions. And you go over to them and you examine how and notice how their leaves, the formation is like a star. And then you see the sun, golden yellow sun-like of the dandelions in bloom. And then you see the moon-like seed heads. And you sense an invitation from the dandelion to come closer. And you feel yourself getting smaller and smaller and smaller until you're almost the size like an insect or a bee. And you sense an invitation from the yellow flower to lie among its petals. And you do so, and you feel that cushiony softness and that welcome from the dandelion. Feeling its softness and its goldenness surrounding you. Sensing its perfume. And feel yourself becoming one with the dandelion, feeling that strength, that power. That willingness to endure, that invincibility, that a sense of, I will not give up, I will continue, I will persist, and I can do this. Feeling that strength of the dandelion, taking it deep within you. You and the dandelion are one. And breathe in the essence of the dandelion, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And now you sense yourself getting bigger again. You hop off the dandelion. You return to your normal size. And beside that beautiful yellow flower is the dandelion clock. That globe, like the moon. And you pick it up. And you look at it, full of seeds of potential, of intentions. And I invite you, if you wish, to blow on the dandelion clock, blowing seeds of healing, of strength, of courage, of community, of love, of trust. Whatever seed or intention you wish to send out into the world, you blow those to the 4 quarters. And you watch as those seeds are carried away on the wind. And now it's time to leave this clearing, and you say goodbye to the dandelions, giving thanks for all you've received and taking those gifts with you. And you begin to walk back down that path, back to the edge of the forest. And you step out of the forest and you turn back and you look at it one more time, saying goodbye. saying thank you, knowing you can go back there whenever you wish. And now you allow your awareness of that grove, that forest, to fade. Bring your awareness back to your physical body sitting in the chair in front of your screen here and now. If you like, take a big deep breath. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So I hope you've enjoyed that story. Although it's a sad story, I hope it is also one of joy and hope. So how are we? Oh, I've gone over the time. So I look forward to, I'm going to read your comments. I'm afraid if I touch one, someone's name is going to get up on the screen. So I'm going to renew my tea, and then I'll come back and read your comments. And I will also put the details of Owen's book on the comment section. So thank you all for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. So, slán go fóill, banach tí agus grá. Bye bye.